In the world of sales, how is it that you are super needy with buyers and it destroys your deals, and why does it matter? I'm Scott Sylvan Bell. I'm coming to you live from the North Shore of Oahu. I'm at Sharks Cove on a perfect day to talk about sales and a perfect day to talk about you. So here's the thing. At some point, you're gonna go through your entire sales presentation and you're gonna sit down with the buyer, and you may or may not have done your work. You may have done all the things that you need to do in your sales presentation. You may have followed sales basic mastery. You may have done everything. And you get down to the end with the buyer, and you right off the bat go into super huge discount mode, okay? Your product, your service, your widget, your gizmo's 10 grand. You know that you have 10% to play with. You know that you have some other incentives that you can throw in, and you talk with the buyer and you're like, hey buyer, you know what? I really like you. I think that you really like me. And here's what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna not be a sales guy today. I'm gonna take that hat and I'm gonna be somebody else. And here's what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna give you the best discount that I can right off the bat. And so in your mind, you're like, I'm just gonna give them everything that I got right from the very beginning. And the buyer looks at it and they're like, 9 grand plus incentives. What else you got? And you're like, no. Like, very true, very genuine. I'm really trying to help you out. I'm really trying to be that guy. I really want to do business with you. They're like, yeah, I know. But what else you got? You're like, no. You don't understand. I'm giving you the best of everything that I got right at the very beginning. Okay? So here's what you did. You went to the school dance and you got your partner, you started to dance, and then you finished off with the finishing move, and everybody looked at you like, no, you did it all backwards, right? You didn't do the dance. So what you don't understand is in that segment of the price and the conversation you need to have is that buyer has a jerk neighbor, a jerk friend, a jerk cousin, a jerk coworker that has to have the input on the sale and go, I could have got it done for less, right? You cut out some of the sections of the dance. They want to go back and forth with you for a little bit. People say they don't like to haggle. I'm going to promise you they do, because it's proof for the jerk friend, neighbor, coworker, cousin, relative that they did their job, right? So that person goes to them and says, hey, I could have got it done for less. I would have bought it for less. They go, no, I got a good deal. But in their mind, they can't go, I got a good deal, because they didn't have to fight for it. They didn't have to put in a little bit of tension, right? The tension resolution, like this, butting heads, the tension resolution, their dopamine version is them getting a deal that they had to fight for. So you can understand how buying behavior works. This is one of those things. You got some tension. We want this price. Nope, can't do it. A little bit. There's a rise and fall. So like there's a bell curve. When you just go in and you're like, hey, buyer, here's what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna give you the best price from the beginning. There's no tension, there's no resolution. There's nothing. And then you're like, hey Scott, but I've done it before and it worked for me. I'm like, does it work for you every time? No, because you need the bell curve, you need the buildup, you need that tension with the buyer for them to go, dopamine rush, I just got a freaking good deal, okay? So like, think about this. When I work with salespeople face to face, this is one of the stories that I tell. I went out fishing today and I caught a 20-foot fish. Like, not very interesting, but if I say, hey, I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, I drove from Kaneohe, I came over here to Hawai'i, got a flat tire. I needed to be on the boat at 4:15. I get there just in time. Look, tension. We go out on the water. There's nothing. It's flat. And then all of a sudden the waves pick up. A storm comes from nowhere and the boat is rocking. I'm getting sick. And the captain's like, do you want to go in? Tension. No. I want to stay out. I want to catch this monster fish. And just as he's like, no. Nasty day. We're pulling back. Like, nope, more tension. Pulling back. We're going back to the harbor. I catch something. I get the fish on, and like everybody's looking at me. They're going, "This thing's a monster. It's trying to pull the boat." Tension. So I'm reeling, and it seems like the line's gonna break. Tension. So I'm in the seat. The captain comes over. He's massaging me because my shoulders are starting to get tight. And the deckhands are cheering for me, and I get the fish almost in the boat, and this thing's a freaking monster. Tension. It gets away. It gets away from me. My line, just whatever reason, my spool on my fishing line opens up, and that fish starts getting away. And the captain starts screaming at me, you gotta reel harder. My arms, they're hurting, and I don't want to do it, but I don't want to go home without this massive fish because I can see how big it is. It's got to be 55 feet long. Tension. Finally, I get this thing into the boat. The deckhands pull it in. It's a record fish. It's 55 feet long. I pass out, right? Your buyer needs to be able to do some sort of version of that when they talk to the jerk cousin, the jerk relative, or the jerk buyer. And when you go in for a quick discount, massive discount from the very beginning with all sorts of incentives, you took away the tension. You took away the ability for them to go, and I sat down with the sales guy. Yeah, tell me more. Oh, and he wanted this, and so I countered with that. Like, and they're gonna embellish the story because they want that jerk neighbor, they want that jerk relative, they want that jerk coworker to be able to go, sounds like you got a good deal. But you didn't do it, and you were needy because you just walked in and you're like, I just want to give you the best price that I can right from the very beginning. I don't want to be a sales guy close. Okay? There you go. Long story short, when you go in for a quick close and you're just like, I'm going to give you the best discount that I can right off the bat without some sort of conversation, without some sort of tension, it's not going to work very well for you every time. And you know what? Okay, there may be one or two sales guys or sales girls in your industry who could pull it off consistently, but probably not most salespeople. There you go. You're like, but Scott, okay, I'll give it to you. I'll give you the little thin slice on the pie, right? The thinnest slice possible, the one that you don't want. It can happen for some salespeople, but not for all of them. You got one thing to do from here, just one thing. Find the subscribe button, click on it every time I send out a video. You'll get an update. It says Scott Bell Consultant sent another fantastic video, probably from a cool location. Today, I'm on the North Shore of Oahu. We'll see you soon. Thanks for dropping by. Aloha.